But because of impunity, he proceeded. He frowned upon this communication and went ahead with his project, unabated. And this is exactly what is happening, and it has occasioned this. So, the address on the disaster that happened yesterday. We would like, in the strongest terms possible, to condemn the acts of impunity that are being perpetrated by a one Hamis Chigundu in the state center here, which occasioned a disaster, a man-made disaster that ravaged people's business yesterday. We do commiserate and sympathize with the business community who lost their merchandise, who lost their property. But at the same time, we are quick to add that it was sheer recklessness and impunity on the part of Hamis Chigundu and his team. Of course, with some actors within the authority here, KCCA, and the central government, because there is that conspiracy going on. And no one can claim that they did not foresee this. All of us Ugandans, whether in government, whether in business here, in the city, or even the countryside, we saw this coming. Some of us had to make a noise. We made a noise. We raised a red flag. We put the country on a high alert. Of course, this was foreseeable. You needed not to be an expert. You needed not to be a prophet to foretell what was going to happen should we experience torrential rains. So this was foreseeable by a reasonable person, by any right-thinking Ugandan. They could easily tell on the look of things that this was a disaster in waiting. Why? Number one, whatever is happening there in the Nachivobo corridor, as we have told you earlier, is nothing else but impunity. Whatever is going on downtown there, it's impunity. Illegality is being perpetrated, of course, with the collusion of state actors. We are on record telling you, HAM has got no approved plans. So you wonder which country it is that we live in, where you have a mega project of that magnitude being undertaken by a private individual without the sanctioning of the regulatory agency like a KCCA, and also the approvals from NEMA and other regulatory agencies. And then it is hyped as a huge, a mega project which is going to salvage this city. It's one thing that has really baffled me, because I've followed some people, both in the cyber world and also in the traditional media. Even experts, even intellectuals, hyping something which is not approved, which has got no plan, simply because they saw some architectural designs in the papers. What are the salient issues which I need to highlight here? Number one, what is happening there. Ham is not constructing the natural drainage channel. That is a bluff. It's a total lie. He is not constructing or reconstructing natural channel. Look what General Kaguta Museveni's letter. He purported to approve that project, ostensibly on the face of it, claiming that actually it is something that is going to turn the face of our drainage channels and also the skylines of Kampala, where Ham was going to reconstruct the channel, and on the top of the channel, he was going to construct a building, his commercial structure. In other words, Mr. Museveni indicated in that communication to the Prime Minister Nabanja that Ham's plan was to reconstruct the drainage channel, and on top of that drainage channel, he would put there his commercial complex. But what is happening on the ground there? Actually, Ham is constructing his commercial complex, not the drainage channel. That is number one. What is going on downtown is not the construction of natural channel, but the construction of a commercial structure by Ham. That is issue number one. Two, Ham has alienated that land illegally. A drainage channel which ordinarily is supposed to be preserved for ecological purposes, for environmental purposes, has now been appropriated and alienated by Ham as private property, which is wrong, which is illegal, which is unconstitutional. I have here with me the Constitution, Article 237. And the government or a local government, as determined by Parliament, by law, shall hold in trust for the people and protect natural resources. No. The government or a local government, as determined by Parliament, by law, shall hold in trust for the people and protect natural lakes, rivers, wetlands, forest reserves, game reserves, natural parks, and any land to be reserved for ecological and touristic purposes for the common good of all citizens. This is a constitutional command. That a wetland like a natural channel there, actually it's a river, natural river, is supposed to be held by the national government or a local government in trust for the people of Uganda, for the common good, for ecological and environmental purposes. That is a constitutional command. This particular provision is reinforced by Section 45 of the Land Act. Of course, this Section 45, first of all, reproduces the provisions of Article 237 of the Constitution in Clause 1 of Section 45, and it goes ahead to provide that in Clause 4 of Article 40, Section 45 of the Local Government, of the Land Act, Cap 227, the government or a local government shall not lease out or otherwise alienate any natural resource referred to in this section. Government is barred in absolute terms from alienating or disposing of a natural resource of that nature. That is Section 4, Clause 4 of Section 45. Of course, there is some room for amendment. Not amendment. There is some discretion given to Parliament to make some adjustments, in Clause 6 of the same provision. Parliament or any other authority empowered by Parliament may from time to time review any land held in trust by the government or a local government wherever the community in the area or district where the reserve land is situated so demands. In other words, Parliament is given some leeway, some discretionary power to make some adjustments in the holding of this particular trust land by making a resolution, but upon a request from the local communities or the district. But the general principle, as enshrined in Section 45 of this Land Act, the general principle is that Parliament is, a local government or government is barred from disposing of a wetland or a natural resource. So we are not supposed to create land titles there. Now, as we speak today, Hamis Chigundu has gotten land titles, 2 land titles over that drainage channel. It is LRV, this is the plot number, LRV 2632 folio number 11, plot M878. Plot, this is the plot number, you can just get the plot number. It's M878. That plot created downtown there, over the drainage channel. In the names of Key Ham, I think it is the acronym for Chigundu Hamis, Key Ham. That is the leasehold. Initially, it was 72 acres, but because of encroachment, it reduced to 56. Now, he has so far acquired 48 acres. 48 acres out of that land. Started with 6.5 acres. Now, he has extended to 48 acres of that land, which is a trust land, which is a natural resource, which is a wetland. A wetland that is supposed to be preserved and protected or kept in trust for the people of Uganda under the provisions of Article 237 of the Constitution and Section 45 of the Land Act. But now it's private property. That is an illegality. That is issue number 2. Issue number 3, Key Ham or Hamis Chigundu did not secure a permit from NEMA as required under the National Environment Act of 2019. It's a condition sine qua non or prerequisite before one embarks on any development project of that nature. You must acquire that permit from NEMA. And NEMA cannot give you that permit unless you are seized with the environmental impact assessment report. To date, no study has been conducted downtown there. No environmental impact assessment report, you call it Asia, which is in place. And therefore, NEMA could not approve this project. I have here with me the communication from NEMA, signed by Ibalire Gakankwasa, the Executive Director of NEMA. It's dated 22nd of August 2025. It was written to the Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, and a copy given to the Office of the Lord Mayor and the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Water and Environment. Warm greetings from the National Environment Management Authority. We have received information on the proposed development of Nakivubo Channel by Ham Enterprises. There is even a confusion whether it is Ham or Key Ham. It is confusing. You know, he has several companies, Fone, and the Fone companies, rather. Yes. Ham Enterprises. As the lead agents for environment management in the city, this is to request you to furnish us with all information in your possession relating to the project and the current position on this matter. We appreciate your cooperation and look forward to your timely response on this matter. Ensuring sustainable development. Signed, Balirega Kankwasa. Doctor. To date, there is no response to this communication. 22nd August 2025, that's when it was written. Up to now, it has not been responded to. So bottom line, there is no environmental impact assessment report in place up to the present moment. And it is the reason now you are witnessing the calamity downtown there. Because all this ought to have been addressed in the environmental impact assessment report. Actually, it is both social. Environmental and the social impact assessment report, not only environmental. Environmental and the social impact assessment report. Amiss Chigund, or harm enterprises, or key harm, whichever the case may be, proceeded to commence construction without the necessary approvals of their plans. Not even lodging an application here, a plan. Can you imagine this kind of impunity and arrogance? You embark on a project of that nature over our trust property, the drainage channel, without even having the audacity, the courtesy of filing or lodging an application for approval of the plan by the regulatory agency, KCCA. It was on that premise, or that against that background, that on the 22nd day of August this year, that the office of the executive director, by that time I think it was Benon Chigenyi who was there, issued a notice to harm, to halt whatever he was doing. You captured this in the media. 22nd August, please halt whatever you are doing, because what you are doing is illegal. Comprising of Mugema, Chibedi Nsegumire, and others. On the 16th of September, no, not 16th, 11th September 2025, my office received a communication from that fact-finding team headed by signed by Chimosho Dan. They invited us for an interface, a meeting with the team on the 19th day of August. No, 17th, sorry. They invited us to appear before the team on the 17th of September 2025. And these were the issues. That the fact-finding team commenced meetings into the above matter and requests for a meeting with you, wherein the team seeks to 1. No, this opening statement is equally important for your information. This is what Chimosho said. On the 19th day of August 2025, the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament constituted a fact-finding team to investigate concerns arising from developments of the natural drainage channel in line with the Presidential Directive of 2nd August 2025. The fact-finding team commenced meetings into the above matter and requests for a meeting with you, wherein the team seeks to A, ascertain the legal status of the land occupied by the natural drainage channel, including ownership and encumbrances. 2, verify allegations that a portion of natural channel was cordoned off by a private developer, Key Harm Enterprises, and to determine whether redevelopment commenced without requisite approvals from the relevant authorities. 3, to establish the plans for relocating and resettling traders and other persons whose livelihoods have historically depended on operating along Nakivubo channel. A project which is not approved. In other words, he has been conducting this exercise of purported reconstruction of the channel without, first of all, the plans, two, the supervision by the regulatory agency, KCCA. That is issue number 4. Issue number 5, it's about the conspiracy being perpetrated by Parliament. We would like to register our disillusionment with the way Parliament has conducted this matter. You recall we presented our concerns to Parliament. The Speaker directed, no, actually not the Speaker, initially the matter was assigned to Kosasi. And we were invited to appear before Kosasi. Reaching there, we were treated to melodrama. The chairperson of the committee read a letter from the Speaker, the Honorable Anita Mongo, stopping the investigations that were being conducted by Kosase. Instead, she had constituted what she termed as a fact-finding committee headed by one Chimosho. And said, no, please stop whatever you are doing. Don't proceed with the investigations in the matter. And there is a fact-finding committee which is going to conduct the investigations and report to Parliament. Of course, we took exception to that. Parliament operates through structured committees. And these committees are either sessional or standing committees. Now, something alien, foreign, cropped up and said, we are going to have a fact-finding. And what do you do with that report of a fact-finding team? That notwithstanding, we said, okay, fine. Let's wait for the report of the fact-finding team. I remember I saw some pictures on TV where Chimosho and team were posturing. They went around purporting to investigate, to monitor whatever was was happening there. They purported to have a tour. Actually, it was a tour. It was not an investigation or a supervision or evaluation, whatever the case. No, it was just a tour that they conducted. That was Chimosho and his team.